Hello everyone, this is Crota giving you a shoutcast and a game between ESC's Goody versus MTW's DIMAGA here on Dual Site. Now, there should be a law where Terran players or players who are playing against Zerg cannot use purple, as I cannot see purple whenever it's on creep, and I apologize if I ever miss any of the action. Now, this is... Actually, yeah, I'll go ahead and do that. Now, Goody is all of a sudden blue instead of purple. Now, red versus blue. DIMAGA spawning as the red Zerg player here at the 3 o'clock position. And we'll see what goes down. DIMAGA in Game 1 was able to set up a very strong economic advantage early on. But Goody, playing the slow and steady Terran, able to macro up a very large force and be able to just get in with better exchanges. Also going into Blue Flame Hellions, and those Blue Flame Hellions with level 1, level 2 weapons upgrades were able to two-shot drones, and that harassment factor was something that I think DIMAGA just wasn't expecting and wasn't ready for. Ultimately, in the end, Goody was able to come back and counter with a large number of ghosts, sniping down all of those broodlords. So siege tanks, Hellions, Thors, and Ghost, and seeming to completely destroy the entire Zerg army. Goody now with only 2 harvesters on gas, not quite sure if that was on purpose or not. Finally transferring over a 3rd one as well. Meanwhile, DIMAGA back over here is just going to continue to mine away with his drones, and it looks like he did set up a hatchery already, so DIMAGA going for that 15 hatchery and should have a very strong economic lead if he's able to defend this one hatchery. But the problem is how will he be able to establish and defend this hatchery over here? He needs to be able to get up a 3rd base up and running, otherwise he's going to fall behind, as Terran players can easily expand into their natural expansions as well. And once again, 我不可以讲国语, so I am, well, I guess I can speak it. I can't. 我不可以讀.我唔識讀. Alright. SCV now making its way off to the north, and we'll take a good look at what this SCV is going to be doing here. It will scout out that low ground hatchery and pretty much know that there's not going to be any early aggression for quite some time. Now, I have seen Zerg players establish this hatchery and then use it more as a macro hatch, and not really getting any additional drones, and forcing the Terran player to think, hey, he's going to be going into a macro hatch, and then they try to establish an expansion of their own. But it doesn't look like Goody's going to be falling for that. Goody has not yet built a 2nd command center. He is going for a Hellion. The Hellion will begin to do some scouting, and there is also a Roach Warren. So we'll see whether or not DIMAGA really goes for that macro hatch or not, or uses the 2nd hatchery as a macro hatch, or if he's actually going to start just training up a whole bunch of roaches and push out that way. Only real issue right now is that DIMAGA only has 1 queen in play, and this has got to be a little bit of a mistake here. Only having 1 queen between 2 bases, he's not going to have the necessary larva to really do anything, as 6 roaches are now being hatched. So this is going to be huge, and this is going to be a straight up macro hatch here, and this may catch Goody off guard. If Goody is not prepared, he's not going to have nearly as large of an army. You're going to see this number jump up in just a moment there, as we now see 7 roaches are out. Taking a look at the army, 625 versus 350, as the roaches are now about to put in some pressure. There is 1 command center down off over here. It looks like the roaches are now just scampering across the field. Not a very good creep highway at all, as the roaches are still scampering about, and this is going to be a 2-base roach rush, and this is going to spell or cause a little bit of problems, as the Hellions are now backing off. You're going to see 3 roaches over here. The roaches should be able to snipe down this SCV rather easily. Now, is he going to go after the SCV is the key question. No, going to simply just try to walk by it, but there's just too much inside that bunker right now, as the bunker is now just firing at those roaches. The roaches need to go after the SCVs and now try to get up that ramp, but they are now stuck right there, and that is not a good place for them to be, as the Hellions are going to be able to get in some easy, nice splash damage there. And now Goody counters with the siege tank to handle that roach rush, and that is going to be really bad news for DIMAGA. DIMAGA down at 26 drones right now, only with 1 queen. Finally training up that second queen. Not quite sure what the delay was, but also getting up a 3rd hatchery inside his own base. So this is going to be the macro hatch that I mentioned earlier, or sorry, that I've been saying all along. He's going to try to do this once more with 3 hatcheries and perhaps just try to push on that front door before his opponent can really do anything else. Nice response by Goody. Goody, having both of the Xel'Naga towers, was able to scout it out and counter that 6 roach early push. Siege tanks, SCVs, and now Goody just probably pretty happy knowing that he is not too far behind in the economic game. Those 2 extra mules really helping him out right now. But that 3rd hatchery coming in from DIMAGA should make a very large difference, as DIMAGA should really start training up another queen somewhere. There is a 2nd queen over there, perhaps laying down a creep tumor before taking care of this hatchery off over here. Now DIMAGA could easily go back into more roaches, or perhaps try to do the standard Zerg tier 2, using infestors, using evolution chambers for the higher upgrades, and also the Glio reconstitution from that roach warren. Siege tanks very well protected, hiding behind bunkers. One Zergling quickly getting shell-shocked by a siege tank there, as another Zergling going to fall to a Hellion in just a moment. Hellion does get taken down. Marines are able to shoot down an Overlord in the air there, so down it goes. No more free scouting on what exactly is happening, as DIMAGA now is in a bit of trouble. 49 drones compared to 38. He's not too far behind. He does have that all-important tier 3 or tier 2, and also going in for 9 additional roaches as well. We'll see what DIMAGA is going to be going for. He is currently supply blocked at 85 over 86. Now training up 4 additional Overlords and getting that Glio reconstitution, but we do not see any evolution chambers, so there's not going to be any any weapons upgrade anytime soon. Infestation pit now being built. Drone now making its way down over here. Will be able to build that all-important 3rd base for Zerg, as Goody just sitting inside his base, getting into a very heavy style of macro. One factory with a reactor, the remaining 3 with tech labs. We are also going into an armory, and we may see that same strategy where Goody went into just very heavily upgraded mech. Hellion now on the move, gonna be able to torch and take down that Zergling. No, unable to do so. The Zergling able to back off at 4 hit points. Hatchery over here at the 12 o'clock position, about 1/3 of the way completed, as the siege tanks, Marines, and Hellions now making a move out into midfield. The siege tanks already have siege tech, which is going to be very, very important in order to one-shot any of those Zerglings. And now, as soon as the Terran vehicle weapons level 1 is also completed, those Hellions will be able to 2-shot any workers. Siege tanks and Marines are engaging. This is not going to be good for DIMAGA. DIMAGA has a lot of roaches, but DIMAGA needs to separate these roaches just a little bit more. The siege tanks are just shelling away at the roaches, and now Goody may not lose any of his tanks, and that's going to be a bit of an issue. He does finally lose. No, he doesn't even lose one yet. Finally loses one, but there's a new tank there ready and willing to take its place, as a bunker now being established, and DIMAGA is unable to cancel this in time. 52 harvesters compared to 51, as the roaches are now looking to perhaps catch in, and no, come in from the behind. That is not good news, as it gets destroyed as well, and Goody just completely mistiming this attack, as the Blue Flame Hellions getting in some easy damage there once again. Siege tank up on that high ground, now going to try to battle it out. It looks like all of those siege tanks will get destroyed, or that one siege tank on the high ground will get destroyed, as the rest of the siege tanks offered a bit of cover fire. DIMAGA now trying to push in into the main base location, but Goody with with 3 siege tanks here should be able to stop whatever aggression is going to be in. There's 1 round, 2 rounds, 3 round. Roaches trying to finish this off here. Not looking good. Down it goes, and this is just a brilliant play by Goody, heavily using siege tanks in order to deal with this very heavy roach mutilus roach queen army. And even if there were any mutilus, the Thors would now take care of them. DIMAGA still running on 2 bases, now tied in terms of harvesters. There are currently no mules in play, but plenty of energy for Goody if he decided to call down mules and get in a lot more minerals. We'll see how this is all going to work out. Hellions still doing a great, or Hellions still being trained off of that reactor here. We are currently supply blocked 110 at over 110. More supply depots need to be added. Terran vehicle plating, and now also going into another command center to perhaps lift off and land at this location here. Hellions now doing a simple drive-by. He's going to spot the hatchery and now perhaps make their way into the main base. This could spell disaster, as Goody does have upgraded, and now in comes those Hellions. Hellions able to two-shot many of those drones already. Drones just getting roasted and toasted. Hellions dealing 21 damage per attack, as the roaches finish off all of those workers, and a queen very glad that she has armor, able to stay alive. Harvester count now 33 compared to 56, and Goody has played such a beautiful game in this Terran versus Zerg matchup. Hellions now trying to go and run away from all of those roaches, not running away all too well, as another Hellion gets taken down. Siege tanks, Thors, and Hellions making their moves. We can see 8 more roaches being added, but I think that's going to be all she wrote. These Thors, siege tanks, and Hellions are just simply too powerful at this stage. As the siege tanks, all they need is 3 seconds to siege, and they can push back any aggression that these roaches would normally want to deal. Roaches now pushing their way in once more. Siege tanks getting in some easy shots over there, as we now also see the Hellions getting in some easy damage against those roaches. Goody now slowly gonna pull back, deciding not to put pressure anymore onto that third base. DIMAGA still has a lot of roaches, but he's gonna be in a bit of trouble, but easily handling a couple Hellions that were out of position. 61 drones versus 43 61 SCVs versus 43 drones. A Thor, Hellions off over here, and more than enough to handle what's happening, but in comes a very large number of roaches. Planetary Fortress about 2/3 of the, or about halfway complete now, 60% complete now. We'll see if it's going to be enough. Will it come online in time, as the roaches are now just going to be able to surround this location here. Down it goes. Planetary Fortress may get repaired. It looks like it will get repaired. So massive repairing on the Planetary Fortress. And will it get up in time? Yes, it does. The additional 2 armor will help, but it is taking a lot of damage. And this one Planetary Fortress may get taken down to 60 hit points, 80 hit points. There it goes. But at what cost? DIMAGA losing a lot of roaches in order to get ahead once again on bases. 45 SCVs versus 40 drones. The siege tanks and Thors are now upgraded 1-1, along with the Hellions. Roaches simply walking by and just getting absolutely destroyed, and there is the GG. Good luck. So DIMAGA losing games 1 and game 2 to Goody. Game 2 here on a GSL dual site, and this game was just always in control by Goody after that initial 6 roach fail. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening.